between.
All right, Shalom. First off, I want to start up by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kakadash. It's all praises to the world calls God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem, and the name Yahweh Shai, be the name of the only begotten Son. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the hopeful light preaching his word in truth and sincerity. On the brother Tazabah, the Great Millstone, Arizona camp, Lord will, with another video to edify. And I think I'm going to title this one, you know, we're going to see if you built your house on sand or stone. So, and that comes from the inspiration of the elder Mawatazak's video. And in a couple minutes of the video, he's detailing some of the history of what's been going on in Israel and how the Lord has been exposing certain men and how Jake are literally out the way constantly. And they're just this untoward generation, right? There's this generation that's completely out the way. And, you know, what I pulled that the Spirit lit me on is the fact that when you look at the pattern and the trajectory of Jake has not just followed the Spirit to find their teachers. They've chosen who they wanted to be their teachers, and every single time it's being shown that the ones that they chose have changed their doctrines completely, changed their doctrines multiple times. The way they're moving is starting to be in the same fashion of the Christian church, showing that they're not sincere, that they're compromised. Because there's no saving Esau in the scriptures. There's no salvation for everyone, but the same men that are supposed to be these illustrious Israelites are coming with doctrines in this fashion. Or they're getting shown to be freaks. Like Alazar, Bishop, not Bishop, but General Yohana. Right, with the freaks come out, and even Bishop Nathaniel, there was a account where he addressed the church about somebody sitting there committing adultery, post the dude's wife, didn't post the brother that it happened to. But you think that man wanted to have his face plastered, have his adulterous woman plastered? That's a shame, man. That brings shame to a man that a female cheated on him, and then you do it in the congregation. They expose it, but you don't want to, man. Then you didn't. I don't think they exposed the image of the dude that did it. So all this stuff is going on, right? And Bishop Nathaniel said, you know, go ahead and read that for me. Read the text of the adultery occurring. And he said, because you know I like that freaky shit. Well, you, Jake, have been following. When this stuff, when the Lord brings the time of Jacob's trouble, you're going to see whether or not it was worth that affinity and that undeserving loyalty to it that you gave. You're going to see whether or not what you built up, right? Some Jake, they just stop at, oh, well, the Israelites are black, and they just stop the truth there. Other Jakes, they sit here and stay on the law, but when things get hot and heavy, right, and you haven't been taught the weightier matters of the law, like being able to suffer, that's part of the scriptures. That's part of Yahweh Shai's walk. When you haven't been taught being able to suffer, and the time of Jacob's trouble comes, how well are you going to fare? So it's going to show whether or not your foundation was built on stone or not, because have you been following the Lord? Have you been doing exactly what it was, or did you follow your own lust? So let's get into this. This is Matthew 7. And 24, it says, You know what? I'll start at 21. It says, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father, which is in heaven. You see, not everybody that sits there and claims they're Israelite, says Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, not everybody gonna make it that could just do that. And that's where a lot of Jakes stop. They stop at knowing they're Israelite. They stop at knowing the Lord's name. But when it comes to, being fully built up in the milk, so you're gonna understand the meat, a lot of Jakes stop because they want to have the constant debates with heathen and clickbait videos. They want to have arguments, but the arguments ain't gonna save you. It's just sincerity towards the Lord and how well you prepped yourself to be able to withstand the day of evil. And all that preparation really comes from the Lord. It says, many will say say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And this is what Jake thinks. ISUPK is all about doing these, right? These charities and all this. He had he had not General, but you had Captain Cesariak. He was on that dude, Satan Center or whatever his name is, Marquetz or whatever his name is. He was on his live stream capitulating and talking down. Yeah, he did very well. I won't say he didn't do very well. But you go on there and you talk about, oh, well, we're not waiting for the kingdom. No, we're waiting for the kingdom. He said, we're not waiting for the kingdom. We're doing this now. We do all this fundraisers. We do this. We do that. We feed the poor. We have substance abuse programs. Where in the scriptures did the Lord say to do that, man? So Jake believes that they're doing the work of the Lord by doing those things, but the scriptures say the day's going to come where those that say those things, that think they did all these wonderful works in the name of the Lord, what does it say? Verse 23 it says, and then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Because what you come to find out is if there's not a spirit of self-examination, if there's not a spirit of judgment and how do you say it? It's not a spirit of judgment and rebuke within those bodies. The thing is just full of iniquity. Men having say-sos in other men's houses, women out of order, women being exalted to the point where they have some type of function within the body, and that's not scriptural. Or they try to sit here and refute the writings of Apostle Paul. Some books they accept, some books they don't. You just find out that those bodies are just cesspools of disobedience. Now, verse 24, it says, and this is where it starts getting into the point. It says, therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And who is our rock now? Yahweh Shai. That is the rock that we're building upon. We're gonna come right back to this. This is I got that one in here. Where is it at? I know I pulled it, man. Yeah, here it is. 2 Timothy 2. First Timothy. Where's that? Where we at? 2 Timothy 2:19. Here it is. Who is that rock, right? This is 2 Timothy 2:19. It says, nevertheless, the foundation of the Most High standeth sure, having the seal, Yahweh knoweth them that are his. You see, the Lord knows everybody that's really going to be down with him. Because it said they were predestinated to be in that lot, predestinated to be conformed unto the image of his son. The Lord knows all that are his. It says, and let everyone that nameth the name of a Mashiach depart from iniquity. All right? So that foundation needs to be on Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. And if it's not built upon that, then you run the course of going about to establish your own righteousness. And that's what we're seeing within Israel. They've established their own righteousness to where their foundation is shaky. So you got Israelites popping up on podcasts and comment sessions and everything like that, trying to go toe-to-toe with Christians and getting confounded because they never took the time to humble down and really get that foundation built upon a rock. They were more worried about clickbait videos, screaming the white man is a devil. It goes deeper than that. You got to go into everything, man. You got to go into the fullness of the milk just to be able to defend yourself with meat. You got to know the fullness of the milk just to be able to get into the meat. Right? Without knowing the history in the Old Testament, just the history of events in the Old Testament, you will never understand what the scriptures say Yahweh Shai had to be lifted up as that serpent in the wilderness. But you got many Israelites that won't even understand that. Many of them that call themselves Israelites that don't even understand that portion. Now back in Matthew 7:26, it says, and everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And that's what's happening with a lot of jakes, and that's what you see. They didn't do what the Lord said. They wanted to go about and establish their own righteousness. You have jakes thinking that their God-given talent, or their talent to present to the Lord, is rapping. But we in the days now where, what is that rapping going to do for you? Nothing. You're not going to be able to lean on, a hot 16 in the day of Jacob's trouble. You got to lean on the Lord. You got to lean on the words that are written in the scriptures. The scriptures tell you. This is Isaiah 33:6. It says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure." You see, wisdom and knowledge is what's going to get you through these times. It's going to keep you stable so you can keep your faith. Because men that don't have that stability in their mind, and these things start hitting, and the prophecies start hitting, where you see people rolling through your neighborhoods, getting their heads blown off, where death just becomes a natural occurrence. If you don't have this word to stand in those times, you through. Because if you didn't listen before these things came, right, it's going to show where your house was built. It says, and the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon their house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. You see? And that's what we coming to. Right? We coming to those, like the scripture say, a man should be a defense. Let's get that real quick. Yeah, this is here. Isaiah 32:2. It says, a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, right? And the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house. A man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and in covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And who is our man in these times? Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But if you haven't sat here and built up a foundation upon that rock, and you wanted to build it in shaky places, because that's what Jake do. They choose the shaky place because it still allows them to move how they want to move. Right? They don't want to be disciplined. They don't want to sit here and remove certain things that might stop them from fully coming into the truth the right way. So what do they choose? They choose groups and men that preach a doctrine that agrees with how they are in the flesh rather than agrees how the Lord wants them to be in the spirit. And that is going to show a lot of Jake to be having their house built upon sand, that when that flood comes, they're going to be out of there. This is 1 Corinthians 3. And these lessons, when bros go into these things, man, this is to build your understanding for those days to come. You know, that's something that just came on my spirit, man. That's what these lessons are for when you go into matters like this. It's to let you understand when these days come, understand this portion. The niggas that's out there bugging out, they bugging out because they didn't take the time. And they weren't chosen to have the right teachers. They wanted teachers according to their own lust. So leave them alone. Let them be there. This is 1 Corinthians 3 and 10. It says, according to the grace of the Most High, which is given unto me, a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, another man buildeth thereon. But every man that taketh heed, it says, but let every man that taketh heed, take heed how he built thereon. You see? Paul was building upon a foundation that was already laid. I have laid a foundation and another man built it thereon. And what was that foundation? It's all based on Yahushua. It says, for other foundation can no man lay, but lay than that it. So like it, but it says, for other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is a Mashiach Yahushua. See, that's the foundation. It says, now if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stone, wood, hay, or stubble, and that's where we coming to. Right? When these floods come, when the rains come, when the winds come, meaning those troublous times, right? We gonna see what you was building. Is it wood? Is it gold? Is it silver? Is it precious stone? Is it wood? Is it hay? Is it stubble? Every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, meaning that trial, and the true fire too. And the fire shall try every man's works of what sort it is. Right? It's not talking about a physical house. Right? It's not talking about a physical foundation. It's talking about what you put your time in to build on. Were you basing the faith? Were you basing your moves in this truth off of Yahushua? Or was it a lot like the scriptures say? Did the root bear the plant, or the plant bear the root? Right? Or did you think you were perfect just because you were Israelite? Or did you try to adjust yourself and perfect yourself and have the understanding of Yahushua that you needed him to be perfected so that you can be defended in these days? It's going to be shown. We're in the times where these things are going to be shown, and the Lord is going to show you what sort every man's work were. So Ephesians chapter 2. Ephesians 2 and 19, it says, now therefore, ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints of the household of the Most High. It says, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, and Yahushua and Mashiach himself being the chief cornerstone. You see, if your foundation ain't based on Yahushua and is rather based on whether or not you melanated, because there's those jakes out there like that. Well, they melanated, but then they disregard all the jake that look like the other nations that are actually repenting, showing that they are Israelites, that they have a gravity towards the truth like that. right? But that foundation is Yahweh Shai. And if you're not built on that foundation, what's going to happen when them floods come? We're going to see where you were built. Did you build yourself in a stable place through Yahweh Shai, or did you build up in another way? Because at the end of the day, the thing that's going to show whether or not you did this thing right is whether or not you were following the truth. And if you weren't, we got that first scripture. He that doeth these things shall I liken unto a man that built his house upon stone. And Yahweh Shai is that chief cornerstone. 2 Ezra 4:35. It says, is it 35? Oh, 1 Ezra. 1 Ezra 4:35. It says, is he not great that maketh these things? Therefore, great is the truth and stronger than all things. And Yahweh Shai is the truth, the way, the light. I know it sounds corny when Christians say it, but when we say it, with the gravity we say it with, you understand these things. It says, all the earth crieth upon truth, and the heaven blesseth it. All works shake and tremble at it, and with it is no unrighteous thing. You see, that's what's going to be shown where you built your foundation upon. There's a lot of Jake they built it on an all black Israelite thing. You even had some Jake sitting there saying all the Israelites were Northern Kingdom. I remember that. That was a thing a little while ago. Then you got other Jake sitting there saying, we niggas. Or you got them saying, if you're not in ISUK, you're not smoking weed, what are you doing? Or that foundation was the law. You basically diminish the importance of Yahweh Shai by just having a doctrine of just the law. You see, these things are important. And if you don't have it built on the right thing, man, I'm telling you right now, them floods is coming. That wind is coming. The day of Jacob's trouble is near. And we going to see, man. Sirach 16. It says, who can declare the works of his justice, or who can endure them? For his covenant is afar off, and the trial of all things is in the end. And that's where we coming to, where the trial of all these things, all you men out here with all your doctrines, even the men of Great Old Millstone, we know we got confidence that what we built on was Yahweh Shai, prophecy, right? Mercy, and we do our best to keep the law. So you can't come on us for that. Right? We got confidence in that. And what does confidence mean? Con meaning with. Fidence going back to fidel meaning faith. We got confidence on that. But let's see if all black only Israelites is going to measure up. Let's see all these things. The end of the trial of all things is in the end. We're going to see. The day is going to declare it, man. Hebrews 12. And 27, it says, this word yet once more signified the removing of those things that are shaken. You see, this word signifies the removing of those things that are shaken as things that are made, that those things which cannot be shaken may remain. And that's what we're going to see. Where you really went in the word, where you really living this thing. Right? All these other camps out here with all your mindsets and all this stuff, how you preach, how you get down. You thinking that you can have a debate with this guy. But then when it comes down to the weighty matter of the law, a lot of you are insufficient, man. And it's being shown. You keep the fruit that has been produced, that's revealing themselves in these last days, and pride. You going on podcast This platform, sit down. All you Jake, you want to be in this, you want to be in that. You sit here and you go out with the whole Ninja Turtle outfit, the Shredder cufflinks, right? You go outside in fringes, but when the cops pull you over, you don't agree with your adversary quickly. Hey, the preaching this word represented, right? It signified the removing of those things which can be shaken from the things that can't be shaken that are going to remain, man. Shalom.